replacing white and black men with women and beige people is a clear attack on the first generation descendants, and is the final manifestation of the ultimate objective to eradicate the original descendants and replace them with people that were bred from scratch just to do that. I'll say that the first generation descendants are the objective, has been for years, kill off the first generations. That's except for the fortunate first generation descendants who have turned their back on their own kind and up until now done nothing but take nice things from their masters, the rulers, for talking and agreeing to be part of a secret group that is going to kill everyone else. It's excellent. Without white and black people, there is no history, and that is the master plan. The rulers, the rulers are white first generation descendants who in reality are the descendants of the originals and have for centuries now enslaved their own kind with the intention of total extermination of all first generation descendants that are apart. First generation descendants, people lived from what is now Britain through to Russia, being the home of the originals. The rulers, they've learned how to synthesize the sun's energy, and they use it to control the lifespans of humans. So I'm getting tired. It's come up to 5 o'clock. Nuclear, 4:30. Nuclear energy is free energy and will be used to kill you. And contrary to people's beliefs, a nuclear winter will be warm, stuffy and extremely uncomfortable. The rulers are now delivering to people 10 times the energy levels of the sun, 24 hours a day, and this is reducing your longevity and affecting your general health big time. Synthesized energy is by default a direct attack on nature and was designed to be that. Well, infinity is a ruse designed to support the concept that light travels as enlightenment or the understanding of light, and the consequential processes relative to planet Earth have been synthesized into formats and creations designed to kill you and take control of planet Earth and all that exists on it. Planet Earth would not have the weather system it has if light travelled. The ruse of infinity was created to eradicate any possibility of someone working out the truth. What is that written down there? Oh, I know what that is. Mad cow's disease, foot and mouth, cutting badgers are proactive efforts of the Luciferians to kill life en masse, and is part of the starting the world again objective. Kill all life and start it again. The stuff I've got written down here. Anyways, Mein Kampf, not written by Adolf Hitler. 5 million Germans and equal amounts of Russians and British were murdered in World War II. It was not about, there was no war. It was to, it was to kill the last generation from the old world and anyone connected to the past, and These people needed to be eliminated before the rulers could build the new world and roll out a new way of life, as they did. It's as simple as that. The children alive during World War II and born just after, just the over 55s built this world. The new world, now, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, they built a new world, and all it really waits for now is the new rules. They are now the generation of the old world, and they're connected to the past and will be eradicated. So they built a new world, and now they've got to be eradicated. So the new rules can be rolled out in it. They're gone. You've got to disassociate. You really have. You've got to step back away from them, mate. They got to go along with the truth, basically. Why did I write that down? Oh, yeah. I know what that means. Can't even get my head around my own notes. What are notes for? Are they just to make you feel special or something? I don't get notes. They don't work, do they? You just write pages of stuff and it just is abstract at best when you read it back. Right. The time provided in church bells ringing were designed to roll out the time and is a call to the enslaved British children who survived 1066, and relative churches were built then and were much like the town hall, holding the people that controlled their captives through starvation. Nothing's really changed, people. The word worship, or the word workship, comes from worship, and it's the same with holiday. Most of you must have known that. Back to it, just popped into my head about the war, because was I just talking about the war? I think I was. All the cities were bombed in the war by strategic design. This is the bit that's just coming to my head. And the blackouts and curfews were forced on the public so that the targeted locations were lit up and could be seen. So everyone blacked out, and then they lit up the targets, and the planes could drop the bombs on the targets that they on the places where they went to put the blocks of flats to bring the brown people. Sorry, the beige people. This is quite a good one. Two-faced is an old expression to describe people that have spirits in them. And this is the reason, that the Red Indians cut the ears off of people, as spirits exist in the left-hand side of the brain. Now, because of that, this has popped into my head. People, two things have popped into my head. That's quite good. I'm going to use that to end. Right. People do not get older. The body is constantly, real-time, replacing itself relative to the group you live in and the localized environment. So you don't get older. You can't grow old when every single part of you is new. It's mad, isn't it, the way reality's been flipped on its head? Telly. TV, drug of the nation, ruling ignorance across the nation. Right. I reckon I've got a few sentences to say on TV. Right. TV, what it's done, it's replaced everyday life, literally, delivering experiences that thrill and are unachievable in your world, consequently providing people with what they believe is a better life than not watching television, and has become the priority of most people. This behaviour is identical in every way to that of an addict. And in actual fact, these traits are how you define an addict. Gradually, over time, the rulers will remove the pictorial detail and replace it with more sound in order to manipulate and control people in the absolute extreme through sound. Humans, by default, have to move into the next moment, and so storing information relative to your recent relevant experiences is unavoidable and can be defined as being an education that is ongoing, real-time and lifelong. The complexity and volume levels of the information supplied next will determine how long an individual is able to retain information gathered previously. The length of time a person can remember can be determined precisely if they are an avid TV watcher. The amount of information your brain gathers and retains this week is governed by its relevance to your life and the amount of information supplied the following week. Now, this is metaphorical, by the way, this next bit I'm going to try to explain. The brain, it stores and releases everyday type information relative to the complexity and amounts, as humans have a limited amount of processing power and storage capabilities, and will release certain types of information the instant more becomes available. And so look, a week of heavy television viewing will leave a person less able to retain the information from the tangible past before that week than a person who has not. And this will transpire itself into the telly addict having less memory of the past, gathering 6 months of reality in 1 month of television and updated every month. So you now are left with less memory span. Older people have now been watching telly religiously since the 70s-ish, and they have no sense of reality and have no way of knowing or realising the consequences of their actions anymore. It gets worse when you consider the information stored. 99.9% of all their reality is delivered via television rather than locally in reality through human interaction. And ultimately, why the over 55s and homeowner type are a massive problem. They are addicted to television and live their lives through it. Intermittently taking time out to go for a drive somewhere. And sleep to recover when they get there and back home to watch telly. It's excellent. The more information that you acquire from television, the less you acquire naturally. And any information acquired naturally is instantly replaced with the television top-up that is now the lives of the over 50s and homeowner type. People that watch television religiously have a memory span that can be manipulated and determined precisely through the complexity and volume levels of the pictures and sound delivered in every next moment. That's it. Simple as that. Right, I'm definitely gonna just ad-lib my way to the end. And at the moment your quality of life is improved, be it tangible or from circumstance. Let me say that again. The moment your quality of life is improved, be it tangible or from circumstantial reassurance, You will believe the situation to be the right way to go. That's what I'm trying to say. Your quality of life will determine what you believe to be right. Trust me, it's how a human works. We are sorted if you accept reality. This is exactly what happened to the over 55s and homeowners. They jump ship on morality and their responsibility to the younger generations, obsessed with the vision of a glamorous free life that they believed owning property would deliver to them, and will aggressively refute and deny this. The older generation's quality of life is so much better than the younger generations in every way, and has improved consistently throughout the whole of their lives, and ours has just got worse. The over 55s, and homeowner types quality of life is directly related to the fact that we have none. It upsets me, when I see young people working long split shift days in establishments waiting on the homeowners' every need. When those places were set up to cater for the over 55s and homeowner types, and in reality the slave type jobs and quality of life those jobs provide are a manifestation of a free money for some and slavery for other system that has been rolled out with the support of the over 55s and homeowner type, as I will explain in my next podcast. The homeowner type believes in a free enterprise type society where huge increases in personal wealth through manipulating money markets and selling property, etc., is perfectly acceptable, simply because this justifies the process that has given them, the older generations, their free money. And the morality or any guilt felt related to the consequences younger people are now faced with living in this type of world does not exist, as their quality of life, just like yours, will prevail in any morality competition. You trust me on that one. It's the way it is, mate. I will try to explain in basic summary, applying the rules of a simple metaphor to try and provide an explanation that you understand in a very basic way how reality synchronizes with the law or laws of the universe and how it affects everyday life for humans. This sounds real technical, and it's not, it's not as difficult to understand as you believe or have been led to believe. It's really whether I can articulate my thoughts in these dire moments of my podcast. Right, I'll try my best. Let me take my glasses off. Right. First of all, it's a game. That's it. And it's a numbers game. What goes around comes around. Right. The numbers, they always keep moving. Now, the numbers will always keep moving. They will keep rolling on until they come about. There is no good or bad, just opposites. Now, before we start, I want young people, before I start drifting into my explanation, I want you to think about a spiral. Now, I've mixed with a lot of young people because I lived in a hostel, and I know it's really strange, but it's really beneficial to me trying to explain this, trying to explain what has happened to the over 50s is made easier by the fact that your culture and existence in all cultures, in your existence, right across the board, no matter what the cultures are, young people are aware of pyramids and spirals and stuff. Now, just think of a spiral. That's what you got to stay focused on as I try to explain this, yeah? And hopefully I can give you some sort of, provide some sort of connection to how life actually works in the most basic way. Look, the universe, yeah, it's not infinite. However, it has infinite characteristics, meaning that everything that exists within it will return to one space on from where it started and cannot under any circumstance return to the same place. Life is a constant that exists within a variable, and this is it. All life, yeah, no exceptions, has the ability to take more than is needed or deserved, as this happens naturally without intention and is addressed naturally in the same way. There would be no variation in life without this variable or possibility. Life itself could not exist, as there would be no hot or cold, tired, hungry or lonely. In reality, the over 55s and homotypes were overwhelmed with free printed money in the 70s and lost their way, focusing on nothing else, ignoring the fact that the extreme amounts of free money for them will inevitably transpire to less of everything for those who come behind. That is obvious. Their greed and debt has created a different type of world and existence for those who come behind. Now, the over 55's belief system is different at best and at worst relative to property price increases. The younger generation's belief system is a direct consequence of the world they grew up in and very different to the older generations. Now this is the nitty gritty. Now this is the X factor, mate. Right? The curve of reality is circular. Nothing is straight. No matter, it cannot be straight because the Earth rotates. Nothing is straight. It can't be. Yeah. So everything is curved. Now, a curve is circular. You understand that? So the curve of reality is circular. And so we'll make it back one place on from where it started. Remember the spiral. The curve of life, as all curves, is ultimately part of a spiral. And will imminently return to somewhere side on and one place on from where it was before. Pushing the curve consistently will determine where that next place on is going to be when the curve returns. Consistently changing things that are deemed to be normal is pushing the curve of reality towards straight, creating a bigger curve that will return to a place far away from where it started. This is the curve of life, mate. And this is the point at which the older generations are forced to hand over responsibility. And for the over 55s and homotypes of now, they have continued to refuse to move aside and allow young people to take over, as is the norm, and are now inevitably forced into handing over responsibility purely because they are too old and weak to continue to retain their fraudulent position in society. That they should have moved on from 35 years ago. The world we have now is unrecognisable for the people that created it. The older generations, they have ploughed forward with credit, changing our future in the absolute extreme. We have been raised into what you can call the future, as this existence we have now is totally different from the existence they had, or they were blessed with. Totally changing the world in 50 years is pushing the curve to an absolute extreme and has totally changed what is seen to be the normal way of life. This is the curve of life going full circle and returning to a place that is so far away from where it started and unrecognisable for the older generations who are now left in a world that they have created and are unable to survive in without free money. This is the law of the universe and cannot be cheated. The curve of existence, the curve of life is circular and has to return and to the next place on from where it was before, pushing the curve hard away from the norm. Norm will straighten the curve and will allow older people to retain their position of rank fraudulently for longer, but will imminently return and to a place very far away from where it started, leaving the older generations in a world that is a direct consequence of their selfishness and not prepared to carry them. What goes around comes around, mate. Take your own death on the chin, mate. I don't smile very often. I mean, glee, mates. Die. Good, you deserve it, mate. And I look forward. I'll tell you something. My fantasy is to be in like an expedition motorhome or on a ship somewhere and watching a big flat screen, just watching you rot, mate. Watching you die. I'll watch it, I'll smile, I won't care, I'll sit there eating my dinner, I don't give a shit, mate. You deserve to die, I'm convinced of it, I really am. Disrespectful humanoid, you're mongy, everything about you. I was in Salisbury the other day with two youngsters, I bumped into them, and I said to them, like, turn round, look at all the people over 50, I said, tell me the truth, and I'd be serious. You find me now in front of Salisbury's quite a busy old place, You find me someone over 50 in front of me that don't look like a complete mong. They just such a look at them. Look at the state of them. They're old. They look mongy, mate. They've just been drugged up with with pieces of chemicals in their food. That's what they are. They're drugged up, mate. They're monged out, and it's affected their looks. They're just mongs, mate, and they need to be killed off. They really do. I hate you, mate. I hate them. Look, I don't know if. I don't know when it'll happen or how long it'll take before they start dying. But sooner the better, really. But the older you are, the older you are, the quicker you're gonna die. That's a good way of putting it. Let me get back. I'm getting emotional. I'm getting real tired. Right. I've got to end this time. I mean, this period of time, it belongs to young people, yet the older generations, they refuse to allow it. You know, it's your turn to, young people, to pick up the baton. You know, the only issue being is that the over 55s and homeowner types are not willing to move aside to allow the younger generations to take their rightful place. You know, you have the horse racing results before the race has been run. You just need to convince yourself that the race is going to take place. The over 55s and homeowner types do not believe in the real world, and reality is coming to haunt them to death, literally. I'm not joking. It's what's going to happen. Disassociate yourself from them. Young people in Britain and throughout the world will be the first to be affected by the arrival of the AOA state and consequential mass culling of humans. The soldiers have got to go first, and they've got to kill each other and smash it all up, and then you'll have to live in the aftermath if you're fortunate enough to live through it. I believe wholeheartedly that this is the only way. The world is upside down. The rulers are 99.9% of the way to achieving their objective, and all that is left here is the culling of the useless and unchangeable. And I support it, simply because there is no other way now. And the quicker it happens, the quicker it be over. That's my philosophy. The older generations, they will not accept the scarcity that goes with the eradication of man-made synthesized carbon production or war. No way. They will not share with other people and will stand by and watch young people starve to death. You trust me on that one. Like humanoids may only be able to change relative to the physical diversity variable or possibility of their strand, and this is supported by the fact that some peoples have changed, but only within that variable, that strand's variable or possibilities, and have lived alongside peoples of a totally different strand who have changed, obviously, except a different strand. And this provides evidence that supports the hypothesis that descendant strands are not able to produce new offspring strands and can only change within their possibility, their diversity variable. That the originals may have a godlike gene that triggers changes relative to the planet they are on. I will now supply you with a realistic, feasible possibility, unchallengeable by science, and nothing less than remarkable as a possibility alone. Excellent. Right, the originals, they may be a superior master key type humanoid designed to be the seed of different types of humanoids and created for the sole purpose of spreading human life throughout this universe by way of sacrifice through copulation. If this be the case, that humanoids of planet Earth en masse and individually have literally attacked the providers of all life and keepers of this universe, the creators. So my question is, to everyone, to all humans, what reason or answer would you give for your destructive and disrespectful attack on your purpose? And how would you excuse it? Do you know, and the mass annihilation of all life and the pollution and death of the planet itself. Do you know, it could not be any worse. The originals sacrificed themselves, a superior version, in order to create an inferior version, solely for the purpose of creating entities that go on to become light bodies, children of the creators and universe. Young people, if you are between the ages of 16 and 29, you may be able to save your own life by supporting the state in every circumstance proactively. You cannot change the unchangeable, you have to replace them. And that is exactly what needs to happen and is going to happen. The people that are willing to share need to replace the people that are not. The government needs a healthy amount of young people to get behind her in order to address the consequences of free money. And in reality, that means complete the culling process, and the transition generation have to help. End of. Right. I have said enough, If you can't get your head around what I have just told you and what you need to do in order to save your own life, then you deserve to die. Changing homeowner types is unrealistic. The over 55s and homeowner type, they need to be replaced as they have outlived the world that they have created and are now useless, nothing more than a burden, and need to be replaced. We need to start again. For the young people of the transition generation, the new world is a brave one. You need to stand up for what you believe in or die. I hope you understand what I mean by that. Your life is reliant on you believing the new way is the only way forward, and be willing to help enforce it using whatever means are at your disposal. The older generations have turned their back on their purpose and will pay the price, be it in life or death. I will make sure of it, I absolutely promise you. Young people, hopefully I will speak to you soon.